Alright, we're back here with the Dimebag eBay guitar build part 3. So I went ahead and jumped ahead and I did do the electronics in this thing. So what I done was I done 50s style wiring with paper oil capacitor. And there is the switch. So I did do a little bit of the reflective in here, and then I done some on the plates. And they're not smooth. I just had it laying around and it was leftovers, but it will do the job. So what the tool I like to use when I make, a lot of people will go to send these things home and they will hit that with a drill, an actual drill. So what happens with the drill is some people, which now you can put tape so far up to set your depth, but if you get a drill cranking and you're pushing on it, it will blow through that tape, and things like headstocks and those type things, you will just knock a hole clean through it. So I like using these. So this is for cleaning out the tip on a cutting torch, and it comes with many sizes of drill bits, and usually you'll find one that makes just a perfect pilot hole for those. And just take a little bit more time, use your hands. So I'm going to put you on pause and go ahead and put these plates on, and then we'll come back. Alright, so we got the back plates on here, and we're going to flip it over here. So like I said, I went ahead and done electronics. So I've got the inserts in, except for this one. This is your bridge ground. We've got the Carvin C22B1, which is pickup wise that sets in between a Seymour Duncan Custom and a JB. It's kind of the middle ground. This is going to be the Carvin Allen's Holworth neck pickup. We've got the floor pots, which are CTS copies, pure tone jack, of course 50s style Gibson wiring. I did have to use the switch that come with it. Now be aware when you buy these kits, which for me it didn't matter because I've done guitars for years, but there is no instructions, and there was only 3 usable wires out of the whole kit. The rest of the wires were junk. So the reason behind the 50s Gibson style wiring, and once you hear it you can't unhear it, is with modern wiring, when you turn your volume down, the tone changes also. And with modern wiring, when you use the tone, the volume goes down and the tone changes also. So I mean, so 50s Gibson style wiring makes a volume operate as a volume and a tone operate as a tone. So this is set up 58 style Gibson Flying V. Volume, volume, tone. So here's the next thing why I didn't put this in. With black hardware, when you're doing your ground, you need to remove that coating. You don't want to remove metal and material so it still fits tight. You just want to get that coating off of there. That coating is actually so thick it will act as an insulator and you will not get a ground. It's easier to remove this paint now than to put this in and realize you have a bad ground and have to fight to get that post back out. Just go ahead and do it now. Be done with it. So what I like to do with that is, and it's not always the correct thing, I like to take this out and a small block of wood and a hammer and drive that in. Be real careful that you don't damage your finish, and pretty straightforward. Just make sure you have plenty of wire that comes through the hole here. That way you have a good ground when you put it in. So I'm going to knock this in, and I'm going to be right back. All right, we're back. So there's the post. We got tailpiece bridge. Now, I'm actually wondering if at some point I'm going to have to remove some paint in this area to continue that ground. So I did check the electronics. They're perfect. So I'm going to get the neck, and we're going to move on to the neck here. All right, so we've got the neck. So after I've done the coats of the True Oil on the headstock, I do 2 coats of True Oil on the neck. Same with 2000 and 3000. Then I do 2 to 3 coats of feed and wax. So that is a beeswax product, a natural finish, and it gets a really good feel to it. So with this one, I am not using any True Oil or anything on the fretboard where it's got a maple fretboard. I'm actually just using the feed and wax on the fretboard. So we're going to flip this. So I still got to polish this one out a little bit. It got a little bit of dust in the finish. So that kind of ended up looking like a, almost like a walnut. So on the front, I did want it darker. So I used a Sharpie, and that way when I done the True Oil, it would get some thin spots and kind of look like it was worn. And then I made my own logo. Kind of made my own horns, kind of in between a Dean and a Washburn. And then this, I'll have to polish this out too. And then, like I said, I done the feed and wax on the neck. So the next step after this is bolting this thing together. So one thing I did when I done some fitment earlier, most of your bolt-on guitars, you're going to, usually you'll have to shim the bottom of the neck to get just a perfect action. This guitar actually looks like it has some angle built into it. So I'm kind of curious on how that's going to work. And I guess we'll see. But let's get it bolted together here. So the way the hardware works is you've got some inserts and screws. It doesn't actually use a neck plate. Now on Dean's, the upper screw usually has your strap button on it. So I'll put these in, and we'll be back here to see how that works out. All right, we're back. So I've got the neck on here. So from front to back, it's up 1/8 of an inch. So generally that's what I would do with the shim. So hopefully it just plays perfect. Cross your fingers. And that's the way the bolts go on. So the strap buttons that come are not correct. A Dean has your strap button right here. So your screw has to go through it. And the ones they sent are actually small, so you would mount there. And I don't want to do that. I want to do it the way Dean done it. So I'll probably have to order another one of them. But so this is how far we are on it now. So now after everything's done, I'll probably do like a 3000 sand and a polish on it. But for right now, I want to get it together. So the next thing is the tuners. And these guys have popped up out of nowhere, and they do not support me or anything like that, but everything so far I've seen from these guys is pretty good. So I do have the pointers on this guitar, and these are the tuners I'm going with, which is a Grover copy. Now, what's neat about these is Grover is 18 to 1. These are actually 19 to 1. And these are a locking style, like a Spurzale. So most of these cheap style like these, when they're unscrewed all the way, it doesn't hold in place. These actually do hold in place. So I'm pretty impressed with these. And they do have a really good feel with them. So they feel, I think they're as close as you can get with that, to a Grover without having one. So I'm going to flip this thing over and show y'all a trick, and then we'll probably call it a video. So bear with me here. Alright, we're back. So I got these tuners in here, just 2 set. So on these headstocks that go at an angle like this, that are not straight across, so you're having to start these things out the very first hole. So they're not factory done, so you have to get them straight. My trick is I start from the bottom with the first 2 tuners. You take your level, you go straight across, you get them in a line. Because otherwise you'll end up with this one setting at a wonky angle, or maybe this one is, and it looks bad. So just use your level, take your time, eyeball it, take some measurements, and you'll get them straight. So do the bottom 2 sets, next 2 sets, top sets. They're all going to be different because the headstock is going at an angle. The main thing is that you have them level and perpendicular to each other. So, like I said, so this is where this comes in. Use this. Do not use a drill. Use your hands, guys and gals. Use these. You can control this. This is easier to stop than a drill. I have saw many people drill right through a headstock. Just use your hands. So I'm going to go ahead and put these things on here, and we'll get a last look at it, and then I'll off video I'll do a setup and everything and see how we're doing, and then I'll do a playthrough video. So we'll be right back here. Alright guys, we are back. We've got the tuners on. And there are the pointers right there. And guys, when you put the bridge on right here, let me see if you can see it. Put the screws in the back. The screws face the tailpiece. So the only other thing I got to do is I got to do the setup and strings. So the setup will take a while. Once I do the setup, I've got to put the truss rod cover on. And I will have to see if I can find me a Dean strap button for that neck. I'll record this setup, and if there's anything eventful, I will release it. If not, we'll just let it be. Thank y'all for watching. I hope y'all enjoy this new series. I do have another build coming up in the future, and we'll see you shortly. Thank you for watching.